Alrighty, so today we're going to be going over the monkey room for TOA, the room right before Baba. A few people have been asking for this, so I figured I would make a guide to go over how I do it, because when people typically talk about this room, they don't really mention the appropriate prayers for each stage of the waves and what to clear first. So oftentimes you'll see people like praying range or praying melee while there's mages on them, and then all of a sudden they start dying, their health gets low, they don't realize what's going on with the pillars and stuff like that, so they will just eventually trigger the trap and then lose the remainder of their HP in such a way. So for this video, I'm going to be going over the way that I think about the monkey room and approach it, all the different prayers for each wave and what to prioritize first. And then I'm also going to be using the Fang, the Sanguinesti staff, which you can substitute with a trident. The important thing is that you need to max hit a 25, so you need at least 90 magic or a way to get there with a regular trident. Otherwise, use whatever you want. You could use a shadow as well if you have that. You can use a Fang for the melee, for the ranger thrower baboons. However, the Fang is slower. So if you have space, or if you already have a melee weapon that can hit like 35s, I think, you should bring an Abyssal Whip or something that is 4-tick. If you can't afford the inventory space, then you're good with just a Fang. And for the range option, most people bring a blowpipe. There is a small caveat here, as well as a pitfall, that the blowpipe actually has like 6 range. So when there are venom baboons running around across the map, you might get dragged into venom, and that could be a really poor experience. So I'll also be showing during my run that if a baboon is too far away, if it's like a venom one, I will switch to either the bofa or whatever range weapon you have, or the mage weapon or powered staff that you have. You can even use ancients, and you can cast it far away, so that way you won't get dragged into the venom. You should also be wary that when there are venomous baboons, as I'll show you, and they're running around the corners, don't try to attack them. Just, you need patience in this room. You need to wait. You could always deal with them later, because you don't have to necessarily focus on them if you have other baboons around, and then you could always hit them when they come around conveniently with your 10-tile weapon. The other thing that's important for doing this room well is, depending on your stats, you may want to pre-pot beforehand, so you drink potions, boosting potions before you get into the room. In particular for solos, this is more important, where you can drink a super combat, a ranging pot, an antidote or anti-venom or extended anti-venom, as well as a stamina potion, so you can run around for the first couple minutes. Your stamina will last you throughout the entirety of the monkey room itself. And for the antidote, as long as you don't step in venom, you will have anti-poison going into Kefri, which is really nice. You won't need Sandfuse and Serp Helms. But if you have something else that's more strong, like a anti-venom or extended anti-venom, you can pre-pot one of these, and this will let you make mistakes like standing in venom for the entirety of the monkey room, and therefore you will still have that anti-poison immunity going into Kefri, and you won't have to worry about that or bring things like Sandfuse or Serp Helms. So yeah, I'm just going to record a run that I do, and then I'm going to do like pauses and stuff like that and let you know exactly what's going on at this moment, because the entire fight itself is like 2 minutes. I can't possibly explain to you all the nuance that's going on within those 2 minutes, so we're just going to go over a recording here, and then maybe at the end I'll be able to show you like live in-game commentary on a potential pitfall that people do when it comes to pathing with respect to venomous baboons. So let's get into it. Oh, if you have an angler, then you also want to pre-pot with an angler. This will give you a bit more HP for the monkey room, allow you to take a little bit more hits. I should also note that you want to set the raid, any invocations at all, but you want to set the raid to whatever your normal invocations are. So if you're doing like a 400, set it up there. And then you also want to turn off the skulls for your invocations, so that way you have infinite practice available to you. As you can see in my inventory, I'm not bringing any food or prayer potions. Depending on your level and how ambitious you are with your raids, you might want to bring like a shark or a Cerebrew or something like that, but you typically shouldn't need it. I also forgot to mention one thing, and is that normally when you start this room, you'll have full supplies, a full inventory, and what you should be practicing is to just go to the far end of the room and drop three potions. So then you could pick up the neutralizing potion as well as the hammer. The next wave won't spawn until you kill off these first two, so just do that. The first two waves are locked to when you actually kill everything off. Okay, so this is a recording of a run that I already did. I just want to point out what I'm wearing here. You can see that I have a Nezzy helm on, and that is because when you're entering this room, you want to have a ranged focus setup, because a lot of the times when you're taking down the shamans, you're going to be ranging. Same with the cursed baboons, you're probably going to be ranging, though you can just like hit them with a staff. That's why you have the range armor on. And then you have a melee hybrid going on, like the shoes and the Nezzy helm, because you want to be able to hit that damage threshold, because every time you attack a baboon with an opposite combat style, you will be hitting your max hit. The ranger's health can go up to 35. So make sure whatever you're wearing when you're already potted up, maybe you have to use piety, that you're able to hit a 35 with whatever melee weapon you're using, so that you can poke them out, take care of them, one-shot them. Very good. And then for the mages that spawn, they start at 20 HP and then go up to 25. You should be able to hit that if you have high stats. If not, then use whatever weapon you're comfortable with, whether that is like a blowpipe or a bofa or a crossbow, like whatever can hit a 25, use that. And then for the melee baboons, they have starting 20 HP and then can go up to 25. Yeah, I think up to 25. So make sure that you have 90 plus magic for your trident, or less magic, I guess, if you are putting on like an occult or a tormented bracelet, or you just have a better staff or higher mage level. With a shadow, you could just do a one-way switch. The point of this is to make it as simple as possible to get through this room, so that things don't keep compounding as you move forward. Let's see, we're skipping ahead here. So you see that I'm going in with a full inventory, and I'm going to drop the 3 potions right here at the door. This is kind of neat because when you finish the room over here, usually you'll also have time for your invocation. Like you'll have to finish the raid within 40 minutes or something. This just makes it faster so that you don't have to go all the way across the room to pick up your potions. They are just right here, neatly packed for you. And then you go ahead and you pick up one of these green potions and a hammer, and then that will leave you with an extra inventory space if you are using a two-handed weapon and you have like a defender on or something like that. So the important thing to note here is that there's going to be a prayer order to these rooms. No one talks about this. So the initial wave, the first wave, is going to have only melee baboons. So that's why you see that I have the staff equipped over here, because the 2 melee baboons are coming at me. The first 2 waves of this encounter will not progress one after the other until you have finished all of the baboons. However, this is not the case after the second wave. After the second wave, the future waves can spawn without all the baboons in the current wave being dead. So in this case, I can take my time because it's the first wave. The second wave won't spawn until the 2 melees have died, but I have to go get my potions and my hammer so that I am all set for the puzzles that will come up eventually. But yeah, the first wave, you should be praying melee. You take out the melee dudes. The second wave, you should be starting out praying mage, because mage baboons are going to hit you the hardest. And then you want to take out the mage in range as fast as possible. It's only 2 more baboons. You see that the skulls are on the vents. We have to use the neutralizing potion for that. That's the green one. And you saw how the shaman spawned right here. We took it out instantly. You equip your blowpipe for that, because to close the gap for a ranger is going to be harder than ranging something with a blowpipe or a bofa. So whenever you're about to start the second wave, take out a range switch and hunt down that major, and then promptly move over praying range to the ranger in the second wave. For the third wave, there will be 2 melee baboons and a shaman, and this happens every single time. It is fixed for the first 3 waves. So after you kill this ranger, you're going to want to equip your magic staff or the range your range weapon if you plan on going for the shaman first. Typically, you would go for the shaman first, but it doesn't always spawn near you. But if you can, do go for the shaman first. If the shaman's blocked or it's really far away, you have the time to take out one of the meleeers. Typically go for the shaman first though. So you see the ranger will get killed here. I'll switch to prey melee with the staff. The shaman is not near me, so I just go ahead and kill off the melee baboon, and then I will quickly switch to a range attack in order to kill the shaman to prevent it from spawning additional thralls. This is the third wave. After this wave, there will be a ranger based wave, so you'll have to prey range afterwards and switch to a melee weapon and close the gap. It's important to note that of the attack priority to decide the order of your prayers for each wave. So if I finish this wave, or rather if the next wave starts early while a melee baboon is still out, I still am going to flip to prey range and I'm going to equip one of my melee items to take care of the rangers because they are a higher priority than the melee baboons. Okay, so you see I thought that I killed the shaman, but I didn't. The next wave has started. You could see how there is a ranger here at the bottom. There's a ranger here and there's a volatile baboon. You want to move away from volatile baboons. You can also use them to explode other baboons, but if you're not comfortable, then just don't bother with them. They'll explode when they get near you. Just move away from them. But you'll see that I realized that the rangers have spawned and I will begin to flip to prey range after finishing off the shaman and then moving over to attacking the rangers. Like so. After this wave, so first we had the static spawn wave 1 of the meleeers that got hit with mage, and then on wave 2 there was a range in major, took him out. Wave 3, which is the one right before this one, wave 3 was a shaman and 2 meleeers, so we prey melee and take him out. And now on this wave it is 2 rangers. However, when there's 2 baboons left, maybe 1 baboon left on this wave, the majors will spawn for the next wave. That'll be wave 5. So for this wave, you're praying range. If the majors spawn before you finish off the rangers, switch to prey mage or they will delete you. And then you'll have to finish off the ranger because you are no longer praying range. So this is that could be an awkward junction where you have to switch the ordering of your prayer a little bit. But your prayer is ultimately going to be against whatever is highest attack priority, with one exception towards the end of the waves that I'll get into. So yeah, you'll see me go over here. If I see the major spawn before I finish off the ranger, I will be switching to prey mage. Immediately, I switch to prey mage. As soon as I see that there are more baboons spawning, I switch to prey mage. This volatile baboon is about to explore near me. So you see I've already clicked over here to move at least 2 tiles away from it. And that way I won't get damaged. And I've already switched to my range weapon as well, that being the blowpipe. Even though the puzzle started, I went and I finished off the mage shamans because it's so quick with a blowpipe and you know you're guaranteed to one hit them because it always will hit your max hit when you are ranging the majors. So I finished them off and then I go take care of the vents. There is this midsection that happens in the waves where it's a range wave, a mage wave, a range wave, and a mage wave. This happens after the first 3 waves, and we are in the middle of that right now. We just had the first range wave. This is the first mage wave. Then we will have another range wave, and then we'll have another mage wave, and then it'll be all melee after that. So range mage for the middle of the waves. This is a mage wave, so next is going to be rangers. I took out the majors first. I'm going to go solve the puzzles, but while I'm solving the puzzles, I'm probably going to switch to prey range. Just like that. Even though nothing has happened, the shamans are dead, I won't be maged. Next is going to be range. And you see, just like that, I was going to go for the cursed baboon because I didn't see the ranger spawn because I was too quick. But I saw him spawn, I instantly go over to them. In this case, I also use piety because I wanted to one-hit them. So you'll get better at that as your experience gets better or your stats get better and or your gear gets better. And then I noticed that the other ranger was over here and I was safe to move in because it was right next to the venom. So you see how I hit a 34 max there instead of a 35? It'd be like that sometimes. Maybe you need to bring an extra switch when you're doing this room, or you need to pre-pod or use piety. And what I say that was going to be the case, we are still in the middle waves. So we're going to have range, mage, range, mage. We just had range, mage, range. Next is going to be mage. So you're going to see me swap to protection from mage. You also see me use the Bofa instead of the blowpipe for this cursed baboon over here, because it is getting a bit too chaotic. It's not as safe as it was before. There's a lot more venom splats, so I'm going to play it safe by using a longer range weapon, even though it's slower than a blowpipe, just so I don't get into this mental headache of having to dodge all the venom. So you see the mages are out. We switch to prey mage. We take out the mages first, and the reason is because, not the shamans, we take out the mages first, because when we kill the mages, there will not be anything maging us anymore. There's like a small caveat to that, but typically there will be nothing maging you anymore. So you take out the shaman here. There is one underneath my camera over here that I'll be going to next. So after I take out both of those, I won't be getting hit with mage. The only things that will be attacking me for the most part are things that are using melee. So I'm taking these out in order to be able to better focus on clearing the rest of the room while not having to worry about my prayers. You also see that I am using a boosting prayer, Rigor, over here in order to deal with the shamans and to get my max hit off on the mages. Alright, in this case, so I just said to take out both mages. In this case, I trapped one behind. This is something that you can pick up later situationally as you get better at this room. Typically, you're going to want to go for the mages if the mages are actually attacking you. So you see there, I like purposely right click because I wanted to specifically target the mage. Couldn't get it there, but then I got it, and you'll see me switch to prey melee right there because we have no more threats of mages. It's only shamans and other meleers from here on in. And we just completed the middle waves. So the middle waves, we had the first three that we went over. You could go back in the video if you want me to talk about that again. Then we had the middle waves, range, mage, range, mage. We just finished the second mage wave in that middle. So after this, it's going to be a melee based wave. And then there's going to be another melee based wave with one ranger that I'll point out when we get to that. And then the last final wave will be mage, will be baboon shamans plus exploding baboons, volatile baboons. And then that's how you know that you've finished that you're finishing the waves. Notice I didn't say anything about the cursed baboons. These are often pitfalls for a lot of people because they'll walk around this corner and then you'll drag yourself into the venom, or they're like the nibblers for Inferno, where if you're running after them, there's a good chance that they'll cause you more harm than good. So just focus on praying the correct styles, using your weapons in order to get rid of the highest priority targets, and then taking care of everything else after that, so that you're not focused on dealing with this while running back, trying to dodge venoms, clear your puzzles. All that stuff can get pretty hectic, especially since these don't technically do damage to you. They just like put up venom splats. Alright, this is a melee focused room, so we have prey melee on. We're chilling. And you see that I could have used a blowpipe for this cursed baboon, but because all this venom is around me, I didn't even want to risk some weird shit that I've never seen before and have him like go to the side or whatever, and then I get dragged into venom. I didn't even want to deal with that. So I just used a longer range weapon. You could also use a trident for this as well. Cursed baboons are a pretty low defense for a magic. So I'm taking out the melees, then I'll be going for the shaman. The only reason why I didn't go for the shaman first is because it was far away. So I had time to deal with the melees. There was a lot of venom around me. I just didn't want to move and risk myself getting into venom by going for the shaman first, even though it is a higher priority target. So I just took care of the melees that are around me. And these little thralls, do not pay any attention to them. They do not spawn the next waves faster for you. They just exist to tear down your prayer and to do melee damage to you eventually. You can also use volatile baboons to help you clear them, or you can clear them in between waves when you have downtime. I would even say these are probably a higher priority than the cursed baboons. Alright, so you see nothing's going on. There's a puzzle, gonna do the puzzle. The wave's not spawning because there's still 3 of these cursed baboons, so I just launched my Bofa at one of them because it's too confusing with a blowpipe at this point. And then you see that the next room started. this is the penultimate wave. After the middle section of waves, there will be a melee focused wave that we just finished, and then there will be this kind of hybrid wave where it's mostly melee focused. You have some thralls, you have a baboon shaman, you have a melee dude over here. You typically want to go to the shaman first, and then you want to run around the edges of the room in order to drag this guy. There is actually a thrower baboon as part of this wave, and you are praying melee. So you can imagine that if you leave the thrower alive, you will take a lot of damage eventually. So what you want to do is go for the shaman as best you can while moving somewhere in the map to drag the baboon thrower out of the venom tiles that are already here, so that you can go and melee it and finish it off as fast as possible, and then it will be only melees after this. So you see that I spotted the thrower over here. That's what I'm looking for in my mind, because I know I'm safe from everything else except this thrower. So I spotted it. I'm standing behind here. I'm going to situate myself and then decide what to do next. So you see how I'm going to the outer edge over here to drag this one further so that I can run up to it on the side and hit it. Because before I was not going to be able to do that with all the venom. And there we go. This is taken care of. I no longer care about what's hitting me because I know that I'm safe with my prey melee. Even though there's so many baboons around with venom, I'm safe. I mean, in my mind, I'm safe. Maybe to you, you might not be. Maybe you need more practice with tiles and you can go to the Hallowed Sepulchre in order to better understand movement while getting some agility experience. For me, I feel like this is safer. If for you this doesn't feel comfortable, you could always just choose to attack the cursed baboons with your long-range weapon. However, do note that when the next wave spawn, you have to change it up. You can't stay on the cursed baboons or you will start taking a lot of damage from everything you're not protecting against. So we finished that up. Oh, I stepped into venom there. It happens. I had my melee weapon out. So you see, they are too far away, so I'm not going to touch them. They're just going to do their thing, and I'll be completely safe. I'm just going to deal with the thralls that are near me instead. And then the next wave spawns. This is the final wave. Usually the final wave has like a few shamans, like more than normal, and a few volatiles, more than normal, and nothing else that will be hitting you. So the goal of this last wave is to be able to hunt down the shamans over here while avoiding the volatile baboons that are coming to you. And they will be coming to you. So just keep moving, because sometimes their character model can blend in with the thralls and you might not be able to see them. So never think that you're safe. Always keep moving away every 2 tiles. See, we took it out here. The volatile is coming up. Almost misclicked there, but it worked out. And then the cursed baboon almost got me, but I moved away because it started to move away. Didn't want to deal with it. And then I started talking, apparently, so we're just going to mute that. So yeah, we finished off the volatile baboon over here. And now the only thing left are these cursed baboons, and I'll get back to my past self in order to tell you a little bit more about cursed baboons and the pitfalls that can occur there. But yeah, that's the breakdown of all the waves that I can think of. You can see that I used a couple prayer potions doses because I was using a boosting prayer. Highly recommend it. You don't have to. If you don't want to use boosting prayers, you're just going to have to use a bit more skill in this room in order to do it with less prayer. And that's how it'll go. Or you need like gear or to compensate in some way. The boosting prayers will help you out. You can choose not to use them. It's up to you. But yeah, I've made my case for them. Anyway, my past self in this recording is going to talk to you next about the cursed baboons that are left in this region and how to approach it, given that you have a blowpipe, a shorter range weapon versus a longer range weapon. So one of the common pitfalls that can happen when you get into a scenario like this is you're tempted to use your blowpipe and you want to do this, and it will drag you out. The way you could avoid that is by running out into this open area and using a 10 range weapon. And then if you want to attack one of these, you'll have to go more here and attack the ones on the outer perimeter. The ones that are going around the obelisk are a bit sus because you don't exactly know which way they'll be going. If you take out your blowpipe and you try to go hit it like over here, then you can get dragged into the venom. But if you use a staff from a distance and you run out into the open, you will have a much higher chance of not getting punished. It'll be a little slower than a blowpipe, but it will save you mental stress, which might be priceless. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I don't really see many people talking about the prayer order within this room, and it can be the difference between having a good time and a bad time. The room now is a lot more streamlined. It was nerfed like 3 times already, so do keep in mind the combat triangle and the right weapon to use against the right baboons. Take off the skulls for the TOA invocation, so that way that you have unlimited practices, and just keep practicing this room over and over. You'll start to get a feel of the different waves that are coming at you one by one. As you begin to master them and switch between the different styles, you will easily more complete the next wave and the next wave. The more efficient you are at this room, the easier it will be. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. If you are being slow or you're struggling to keep track of what's going on, then you will see the room get progressively harder and harder and start to cascade, and you can easily succumb to a quick death. But yeah, that's it for me. I hope that this was informative. I hope it was useful and educational for you. If you guys want to see anything else in terms of like PVM related stuff or anything RuneScape related, do let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you later.